Hey everybody,
Hey.
I'm Wade.
I'm Ash.
And we are
Ash and Wade.
What's going on? Welcome back.
Welcome back to all of our followers. Thank you for subscribing to our channel. For those of you who have not subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe, like, and comment. And shout out to our Instagram followers. Follow us on Instagram at Ash and Wade TV.
Yes.
On Instagram.
We really appreciate it.
So enough of the preliminary.
Yes.
Let's get into Ready to Love Season 1.
Season 1, episode 2. And it's a doozy.
This season was something else.
I really liked it. We started watching the episodes like one by one, and then we just couldn't stop watching.
Right,
it.
could not stop watching it. We were up till like 4 a.m.
It was really
watching
good.
this.
It was really good.
Yeah.
And so this second episode kind of drew us in too because, you know, the women still have the power. Mm-hmm. It's still one of those situations where the guys gotta do what they gotta do. And we forgot to mention the last episode kind of left the open-ended who the third gentleman or the last gentleman who would make it was.
Yeah.
And of course, that was Pastor Chris. If you noticed from our last video, he wasn't one of the ones that we had to say bye to.
Right. So Pastor Chris made the cut for episode 2, and if you remember from episode 1, that, you know, Stormy and Pastor Chris had a connection. So Stormy was excited to see Pastor Chris walk through the door.
I think the reason is she really didn't have a chance, and she said this, to really connect with anybody else. I think Pastor Chris took her to the side, almost was hogging her, and she really didn't have a chance to connect with anybody else. She talked to other people, but Pastor Chris was the person who she really genuinely connected with, and so when she saw him, she was very giddy and happy because, of course, their journey could continue.
Yes, so like Wade said, the ladies have the power, have the control at this point, and the pool of men are dwindling. So we still have 12 ladies.
It's crazy.
To 5 men who, at the end of this episode, will turn
from
to
5
3.
to 3. It really has a Mac Daddy approach to this season. I think they made a mistake with that because if the dating pool, like we said before, is already messed up, don't make it this bad.
Right. And the imbalance is insane. 12 to 3.
It's really crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I don't know how that works, but
I guess the ladies get to choose who they really want to go after, and then they're gonna fight for you.
But
it's like a free-for-all brawl going on now.
That's not right.
It's not.
That's not.
It's gonna be a cat fight, though. Obviously.
Right. So at the second mixer, Tommy, who is the host, Nephew Tommy,
we keep forgetting.
Yeah, we keep forgetting to mention him. Sorry, Nephew Tommy.
What's up, Nephew Tommy?
What's up?
You're hilarious, bro. Yes. I remember all these skits from the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
So funny.
You are hilarious.
Yes.
And I'm glad you are the host of this show.
Yeah, shout out to Nephew Tommy.
And I'm glad that you're able to impart some wisdom to the brothers from your long marriage. And so we appreciate that. You're a great host.
Awesome.
Really awesome host.
Back into it. The mixer, Tommy urges the singles to mingle, to get to know each other more, to exchange numbers, to make a deeper connection. And first, I wanted to point out Tiffany and Alex. Tiffany and Alex kind of separate themselves from the group, and they go and talk and connect, and they really did genuinely connect. I felt like
he really noticed her beauty and really went into how she got that scar. It opened up to him, so that was a genuine connection. And you know, they both were like, we don't want this to end.
At this point, because of the dynamic of the show, the fact that the 5 guys are dwindling down to 3, that 2 guys are being cut at the end of episode 2, she feels as though you need to make a connection right away. I like Alex or, you know, whoever, and that's mine. So that's her stance, which kind of sets her up for failure at the end, but we'll get to that.
I think all of them had that set up for failure type mode because of the way the show was set up. And so you choose who you want, and then you're obviously going to have competition.
Right.
Because obviously the men are going to soon have the power to choose who they want. So if you're making a connection with one dude, you don't want to be, you know, making a connection with one dude and another dude, and then both of them fell apart. You gotta have a sustainable connection with somebody.
So the other couple I wanted to mention was Pastor Chris and Melinda.
Pastor Chris? Okay.
So Pastor Chris and Melinda go out on a date, and to me it was very awkward. And even Pastor Chris said that, you know, he felt like he was forcing conversation, forcing a connection, forcing a moment. Pastor Chris drops, you know, a bomb on Melinda and says that, you know, where he is right now, he would like to wait until marriage and be celibate in a relationship, you know, and wait until marriage to be intimate, you know, and have sex. So Melinda didn't take that so well, which was kind of off-putting. Like, why would you make that awkward? Why would you?
As soon as she heard that, she made a face.
Yeah.
She
didn't know. She was stumbled. She didn't know how to respond.
I think the reason why she made that face and didn't know how to respond was because this was their first interaction. Mm-hmm. I don't think this was their first date.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a connection with somebody, if you're on a date to make a connection, which I think Pastor Chris was doing because he understood it's about to go from 5 to 3.
Right.
I think I got Stormy in the bag.
Let
She
me
likes
secure
me.
somebody else.
Let me secure somebody else so they will go to Nephew Tommy and be like, yo, I think I have a connection with Pastor Chris too. Yeah. He should stay on the show.
Yeah.
So I think that backfired on him though because he opened up a little too much without really having an initial connection with her at all.
Yeah.
I think she said you gotta prime the pump.
Yeah.
Prime the pump. Yeah. Prime the pump. So she was basically telling him, yo, you can't hit me with I'm gonna be celibate and this is what you're gonna have to deal with, and she doesn't even really know that much about you or even have care to know much about you because you don't have a connection with her as of yet. So that was a mistake on Pastor Chris' part, I think.
But then on the flip side, like, again, these cast members are not 18, 19, 20. They are in their 40s. Some are in their 50s. Let's have a sense of maturity when it comes to conversation and sharing, you know, thoughts and opinions and lifestyles with each other. Like, we're not getting married tomorrow.
Right.
So if you don't like that, you don't like that. But just have that respect for that person. It's like, oh, wow, you know, I can really respect that. That's not something that I am looking for, but I can respect that. Especially, I mean, he's a pastor, so.
And that's another thing. He was basically trying to be upfront and forward with what he was looking for and what would be expected in their relationship if they were to continue their process. But once again, they had no initial connection, so
right.
Of course she was gonna be like,
yeah. So that left the date off on an awkward note, unfortunately.
Definitely did.
Yeah, and I feel as though, you know, Melinda, because of her liking in episode 1 to Aaron, it kind of overshadowed the date anyway. Yes. And she kind of looked at him like, okay, well, you're not Aaron, so I really don't care what you have to say, anything. She was just, I'm here with you.
She was locked in on Aaron.
Locked.
From the jump.
Yeah.
All she cared about was his physical appearance. She really didn't get into the fact that multiple women are onto his physical appearance as well. Let me dig deeper into the man if that's what you really care about. If you really like his physical appearance already, why don't you figure out more about him as well? If this is the point of the show.
Exactly.
She didn't give Pastor Chris the time of day.
No.
She gave him that awkward look and then went and spread his business about him being celibate. Mike and Shatava.
They have a date. They go out on a date.
It was cool.
It was cool. I thought that they looked really cute together, and you could sense that they had
an attraction.
Yes. So when I was watching the episode, it kind of came across a little weird because I felt like they were like literally undressing each other across the table, like looking over the menu and being all distracted. I'm like, y'all.
Definitely.
Y'all are like
high school vibes.
Have some restraint. Like, have some self-control. Like, this is your first date.
Right. She couldn't wait to be with this guy.
Yeah.
And I think he was opening up to liking her. And I think, you know, we all, well, from the first episode, Mike and Shay are a thing.
Yes.
And Mike, being the guy he is, like every guy on the show has to be, which is that's why I said it has a Mac Daddy approach to this season. You gotta move around and gain the favor of multiple women to just stay on the show, just to have the opportunity to be with the woman you really want to be with. If I liked Ashley, I would have to be with Ashley's other friends so that I could continue on, or I would date them to continue to date Ashley, and that's kind of weird. I think he was putting on or lathering on the compliments and, you know, looking at her through the menu, saying, what did she say about needing a hero?
Yes, so that's my other point with Mike and Shatava. So Shatava kind of goes into like a emotional moment with Mike and starts talking about how, you know, she feels like she has to be the hero to everybody, you know, her employees, her friends, and things like that. And she doesn't have that for herself. She has that void in her life, whereas though she can't, you know, fully rely on, you know, somebody else is going to be there for her. To our followers, our viewers, how do you feel about that? I would like to get your thoughts on, you know, if you have ever experienced, you know, or had thoughts about that. Like, to me, as Black women, we are held to this kind of standard where, you know, we have to be there for everybody else, our families, our friends, you know, we have to show up to work, we have to, you know, take care of house and home. But then at the end of the day, who is really there for me? You know, who's really listening to me? Who really cares about my, you know, feelings? Who's my hero? If you can relate to that or have any thoughts about that, I would really like to see them in the comments below.
Yes, open up. We want to know, because that's a serious thing that goes on. When I read an article about the death rate of Black women when they have birth and how the doctors didn't believe that they were in pain.
Right. When you're at your most vulnerable state, having a child.
There is a stigma with the strength of a Black woman and how much they could take because of what they've been through.
Right.
And so when they have to carry on that weight for so long, and that's the stigma, they continue to have that. It's hard to open up and even have someone else fill that role for them. So I think what Shatava was doing and telling Mike she needs a hero, she was saying, I need a break.
Yeah.
I need somebody to help me out and be my partner in crime while I'm going through this thing called life.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed that part of her. I think she was really opening up to him. But ultimately, I think what Mike was trying to do was just gain that connection before he even feels that role. Of course, he played around with her and said,
yes, I have my cape on.
I'll be that hero.
Yeah, like, I mean, what else is he going to say?
Right.
Like, oh, no,
he's
I can't
trying
do
to
that.
get the shade.
Yeah.
He's trying to get
the
shade.
He's just playing the game.
He's playing the game.
Yeah, so.
He's telling her what she wants to hear. I think that was kind of sad that she really opened up to him.
Yeah, she was being
serious.
Really vulnerable with him and being serious. And he's
about
just
something that's serious going on with Black women.
In
not
general.
Just only in Atlanta, but everywhere.
Everybody, yeah.
And so that was something that could be talked about. We want to hear what you think about that.
Right. So moving on to our next couple that we want to highlight. So Kiba and Christina. Kiba takes Christina on a very interesting date for some drinks.
These fellas, man. Where did y'all find these dudes? Like, Kiba went on the date with her, was like, yo, I think he heard how Aaron got popular off the ab statement.
Yeah.
So he was talking about, you think somebody cut me up with all these abs on their head with a knife or something. Then he's all chiseling something. Never lifted his shirt once in the show.
Okay.
But he's bragging about how he got the abs. So he's expecting, and I told her this, he went on this date, I think, because he saw Christina as somebody who would run her mouth to the rest of the girls on how great the date went. Not knowing that if the date went bad, she's going to run her mouth and tell everybody else too. So what did this guy do?
So straight out the bat, so they order drinks, and he orders an alcoholic drink, and the bartender asks Christina what she wants to drink, and she's like, I'm good with lemonade, and he, squinched his face up, reacted to that like,
you're not drinking?
Yeah, you're not drinking. And I was very judgmental. Like, this is coming off of, and this is your first date. Like, why do you have to judge somebody if they don't, if they don't drink?
Right.
Like,
that goes into the what we were talking about too, about if you're not open to other people's differences,
right?
How are you ready to
how
love?
Are you ready to love? How are you ready for a relationship?
No.
How are you ready to accept somebody else into your circle if you're not ready to understand and have a sense of compassion or, empathy towards somebody else, and how they feel.
Right. And
so
he didn't. It's not like she didn't give him a reason either.
Yeah.
She told him, "I was raised a certain way.
Right.
My father's a bishop,
Right.
and so the way I was brought up, I've never had alcohol.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
She's already a bubbly person, a friendly person, an outgoing person. So
you don't need to force that on her.
Yeah.
And what he almost victim blamed and was like, what'd he say? I don't trust.
Oh yeah, something crazy.
What'd he say, man?
He said, "I don't trust people who don't drink."
Huh? It should be the opposite. I don't trust people who do drink.
Who do drink, right?
Come on.
Right.
So you gonna try to make her seem unfit because she don't want to, be all loosey goosey with you. She made a commitment. Right. Why would
she don't want to drink, period.
She don't want to drink.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with being stubborn.
Right.
She just don't want to drink.
Yeah, and that's okay. I just don't understand why that was an issue. Like, there are so many other issues that come up in relationships, that you deal with. Why does drinking lemonade and not an alcoholic drink, why was that such an issue?
On the first date. Come on.
Like, no.
Ridiculous.
So I feel as though Kiba was forcing it, and because the pressure of the show kind of got to him a little bit.
We think he went on the date specifically for the word of mouth,
right?
And that was.
And she was the easiest target. All right,
she'll like me. Come on.
Yeah. She'll like me.
What won't she like?
Yeah.
She won't like how prejudiced you were, bro, and how you treated her.
Right.
When she said, "I'm not trying to drink," okay,
right.
That's why.
Right.
That's why you messed up.
Right. The other thing we want to mention about Kiba and Christina is that Kiba said that he isn't for PDA outside of the bedroom.
Oh yes.
What was that about? And Christina was like, I want to hold your hand. Like, I want.
No, she was like, so you don't hold hands?
Yeah, like.
No, we can touch in the bedroom.
Like, what was that about, Kiba? So that's a turn off. So Christina was like.
Exactly. She basically ran and told that.
Right.
To
told
the
all
rest
of
the females.
Yes. So my guy
Kiba
Kiba
is on the hot seat. He's out here going on a date and expressing that he doesn't like that you drink. He doesn't want to share any intimacy outside the bedroom, so he's basically going to use you however he wants inside the bedroom. And then outside the bedroom, don't expect to be claimed by me.
Right.
That type of attitude is very toxic. Nobody wants that.
No.
So moving on
to
Mike. He had a little
and Dr. Lexi. So Mike invited Dr. Lexi over to his apartment for a little powwow, a little get together, and for the beginning part, the first part, it was just them, just Mike and Dr. Lexi talking. And Mike came out and said something about how he was kind of intimidated by, her appearance and that she was wearing a lot of makeup, and he, said that, you don't really need them. I'm sure you're beautiful. And she even whipped out her phone and was like, yeah, here's a regular picture of me. And he was like, yeah, like, whipped out a napkin, like, wipe that stuff off. Like, you don't need that stuff.
I want to hear from my fellas. Ladies, we feel, in my opinion, we don't need all of the extra makeup and stuff. It's nice to get pretty, but the women who can't walk out of the door without spending 30 to 45 minutes on powdering their face, I want to know, fellas, tell us if that's how you feel. If that's not how you feel, let me know. Let us know in the comments below. We want to know exactly how you all feel about that.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think she appreciated Mike's honesty. She appreciated that he expressed that she didn't need that. She felt pretty. And I think
he didn't offend her.
He didn't offend her by saying
it didn't come off in an offensive way. So I could see how, you know, she could appreciate that.
But,
so Mike invites over Ashley, Aaron, and Melinda to join Dr. Lexi for a little powwow. And Melinda comes in, realizes Aaron is there, and is just Google-eyed, head over heels for Aaron, of which she made known. Just cannot get enough of Aaron. Just touching him and just all over him. And to me, I'm like, just show a little restraint.
Don't show all your feelings at once.
Yeah, don't put all your cards out at, you know, at once. Have, you know, some level of poker face, you know, some type of chill, especially in a group. So Ashley opens up and has a moment and kind of shares a little bit about her past and the things that she's gone through to help her realize, you know, what she wants when it comes to love. So she kind of shares that, you know, she was settling a little bit in the relationship, you know, ignoring red flags, you know, just questioning if this was really for her, you know, but not really having the strength to leave quite yet. And I think that a lot of women can relate to Ashley's story because, you know, you had that one or two relationships that you were just in it for too long, overlooked a whole bunch of things, dealt with nonsense, tolerated foolishness, and, you know, just put up with crap for so long.
A lot of people do that. A lot of people make excuses for that person, make excuses and look for reasons to stay. And when that happens, you end up being hurt. You end up being the one that's abused and being, you know, just that mat that people walk over. And so I'm glad that Ashley was able to open up to fellow people on the show, let them know that, you know, this is something that she struggled with. And it was a very serious moment.
It was.
And this guy, Aaron. Yo, that's sexy.
You see what I'm saying? Aaron is just...
She started crying
and really opening up and sharing, you know, that she's like really in this to find somebody.
And then she apologized. She was like, yo, I'm sorry, guys. She's like, no, don't apologize. That's sexy. It's like everybody is on the menu for this guy to try to charm. Yeah. But we could tell on that moment, is not the time for you to say you look sexy while you're breaking down and crying and opening up yourself to everybody. You know? So that I thought that was kind of like obviously very insensitive.
Very insensitive and so inappropriate to say in that moment. So if you don't have anything decent to say,
not to bash on
don't
homie.
Say nothing.
Please.
Don't say anything else.
Not to bash on homie, but
no.
Do what the lady says.
Yeah, just don't say nothing.
Right.
Don't say Pastor Chris.
Who? Pastor
Pastor Chris.
Slack.
So corny and black.
He is corny. But hey, I think Stormy likes corny. I think she said I like to laugh, so that's why
he made her laugh.
Right.
Yeah,
so they hooked up or they hit it off. So on their date though. Just like Melinda.
Can I get it out? So, Pastor Chris took Stormy on a date. And...
What Pastor Chris did?
Listen, Pastor Chris will let you know, honey, okay?
Okay.
He came out the same way with Melinda. Was like, listen, I have to tell you. I have something to tell you. I vowed to be celibate.
Okay.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
But what was different from Melinda was that Stormy kind of, you know, she sat there and thought about it a little bit and was like, wow, you know, she commended Pastor Chris for, you know, his stance and his beliefs and, you know, didn't shame him. It wasn't awkward or anything. It was like, wow, it's really refreshing, you know, to hear that from a guy. You know, so she had, you know, a lot of respect for him in that moment. My thing was what he said 2 seconds after that. You know, she after she commended him, whatever, he was like, well, we might be dating for 2 or 3 weeks and then get married. You know, go ahead on down to Las Vegas.
It'll be an event. I think what he was trying to say.
No, he wasn't trying to say anything. What he was trying to say was exactly what he said. Was date for 2-3 weeks and then go head on down to Las Vegas and get married. Because why?
This is what I'm trying to say.
What are you trying to say?
He's a pastor.
Right.
He has a congregation.
Right.
I think there is a stigma for single pastors where if they are dating or if they're dating anybody in their congregation or even outside, people will automatically assume they're doing something or they're living an unholy alliance is going on.
Okay, but that doesn't leave room for the...
And another is what I was going to say. Another thing, he's 50.
So what?
He's trying to spend as much time as he can while he's still working, babe.
No, babe.
Yes, no. He is like, yo, I'm 50. I know you are DJ Stormy, but I need you to DJ in my church as the first lady. So immediately.
No. Where does that leave room for the actual dating process, the actual getting to know somebody? You know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, before you actually jump into marriage. So I feel as though marriage is so special and sacred. You can't just jump into it with anybody.
Right.
You know, you have to take your time to, you know, get to know the person. And then, you know, you both come to a decision. So...
But I do think they get married fast because I think they have a sense of seriousness about it.
Okay.
And some do. And so, especially Pastor Chris, he had a seriousness about it.
He did. And he should have that seriousness being 50 years old coming on this show.
The disingenuous part was it's going to be an event, making it seem like, oh, we just going to go over there and do it.
All the jokey joke, that wasn't necessary. You should have just shared your
If you're serious about Stormy, be serious.
Right. Exactly. So... That's all I had to say about that. I just felt a way about it. If I was Stormy, I would have walked out, honestly, because that's offensive. Like, okay, you have this stance, but then you want to get married, and you know that just sends the wrong message to me.
That is double-minded to say in one sense.
I'm celibate,
I'm
gonna date you for 2 weeks.
I'm
and
not
then we get
gonna.
married.
I'm not gonna have sex with you until we get married. Yeah. But let's get married tomorrow.
What? Don't make no sense.
It's like the truth.
Stop.
Right.
So that was that, and that was the episode.
Had a lot of great stuff.
Had a lot of interesting stuff.
And we're kind of going to go into the third episode right now.
Yeah, they don't share who was kicked off until the beginning of the third episode, but...
Because the third episode, the beginning of the third episode really isn't of any significance.
No, we're just going to share
it. It has everything to do with the end of the second episode.
Right.
So we're just going to tell y'all what happened.
So...
Our guy, Pastor Chris. He was booted off, fellas.
Booted off.
And our guy, Kiba.
He
didn't make it either. No, although we go to the end of the road, my brother, it's time to go.
Right.
When you start talking about, I'm not going to show no love to you in public, and then all the women who hear that are in a position of power to say, see you later, you're not going to.
So that's our review
of episode 2.
Episode 2. Yes. So
stay tuned.
Thank
you so much.
Yes, like, comment, and subscribe.
I'm Wade.
I'm Ash. And we out.
Ash and...
Come on, babe.
All right, I'm Wade.
I'm Ash. And we out.